Good day and welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so excited to be on today. I've got some amazing people to talk to about my new book, The 7 Steps to Ultimate Self-Love, that's on pre-order right now. It will be released on my birthday, November 19th. And so I have three guests tonight, three amazing guests. It's an actually diverse cast, too, because we got a recording artist and pastor. We got an amazing CEO. We've got an actor, director, producer, just running the whole gambit of greatness here. First up today, we're jumping right in, y'all. First up today is the impeccable, the undeniable, the prolific L. Spencer Smith. I'm gonna bring him right on in today. What's going on, my brother?
Hey man, how you doing? I was like, wait a minute, did I log in correctly? Who is he talking about?
That is all you. That is all you.
Man,
Yes.
I'm honored. I am so honored every time I get a chance to talk to you, man. We've been knowing each other a while, so I'm just incredibly honored and incredibly proud of this new work that you're about to bring forth on your birthday. The 7 Steps to Ultimate Self-Love. It's so needed in times like this, man. So kudos to you, congratulations, and let's get to talking. Listen, you did a thing. You did a thing.
Thank you. It's mostly your world, so I'm gonna let you. What stood out in the book? Whatever first impression you had.
You know it's the whole thing about alignment, and I say that in aligning yourself. And what I found myself doing, even as I was perusing and reading and highlighting some quotes, I got it on my phone here, highlighted and all that kind of stuff, was, as much as when you begin to talk about, the Genesis narrative about, how God separated light from darkness, and that he brought order, then he brought specificity before he could bring balance.
Yeah.
And that separating of light and darkness, a lot of us come into a world where we don't know how to have partitions. Like, especially when you are a Christian and a believer, you're taught in church. And I read that in the alignment, we're kind of giving a psychology or psychosis really of giving yourself away, just giving yourself like you are the ultimate offering. And we find ourselves when we need to set boundaries and when we need to retreat, even the things that Jesus did, he would perform a miracle, he would minister, and then he would take time in a mountain, he would separate from everybody.
Get on out of there. Yes.
Right. Get out. I'm saying go to the car and go to the hotel and chill. Right. But we have been made to feel guilty when we make that separation between light and dark. That part that reveals us and that part that we should keep shrouded. Sometimes darkness, we tend to think that darkness is evil, but there are parts of me that people don't need to know. And what happens, and the reason why people get so burnt out, and this is what I love about the chapter on alignment and aligning, is when you don't know how to do that, you give the wrong people the most intimate part of you. Especially when in my world you're a spiritual character or a spiritual leader. We don't live in that space all the time, right? There are times when we have to kick our shoes off. There are times when we get frustrated and our language may not be as angelic or heavenly, and when we don't know how to retreat and to align ourselves, to say, okay, this is my light hours, this is my dark hours, this is the light of me, this is the dark of me, and keep those things, keep ourselves in a place where we can fulfill our responsibilities, but those responsibilities don't become obsessive obligations. And I think that's important. That's very important, that our responsibilities do not become obsessive obligations. And that's what I got out of this particular chapter that I read on alignment. And again, I just grew to it because a lot of us need some of us need alignment. And then some of us really need to realign, because we kind of started off good, and then you loving yourself, unlike loving God or loving anybody else, is the place where you feel most guilty. And that's to me, that we think something has happened to us, or we've been taught environmentally or whatever that is, that number one, we're hard to love. We don't deserve love. And that's not really what God requires of us. And then we don't understand, Byron, why we have faulty relationships simply because the scripture has an order to it. Love God first, love yourself second, and love others third, out of the reservoir, out of the capacity that you gain of
Yes.
loving you and loving yourself. And we read it wrong. And the second is likened unto this: love your neighbor as you love yourself. And really, we put the emphasis on neighbor.
Neighbor, yes.
But that's not it.
Right. That is not the order, brother.
As you love according to or in accordance with how you love yourself. So then
Yes.
the benchmark for loving your neighbor is really how you deal with self-love.
And it's your neighbor, it's your partner, it's your business partner, it's your congregants, it's your clients, it's everyone. And learning that the way you treat yourself, you cannot give anymore. You cannot give anything that you're giving beyond what you love in yourself is actually fake.
Absolutely.
It's fake.
Right. You're trying to love people into loving yourself.
Yeah.
And I can love people, unconditionally, because I've learned as I discover me, my flaws, failures, idiosyncrasies, predilections, all of those things. I've learned how to love me through it. I've learned how to love myself through not being able to stand myself some days. And when I deal with people, I have the capacity to deal with them at that same measure that they're just exhibiting something that I've been through or that I go through. And so why would I ever not love them through it when I'm learning and I've learned how to love myself through it? And right, we are the first persons that we really in this world that we practice an adult, mature love. I mean, we love our parents. Yeah, we love our parents, but that's a love of care. They've cared for us. But when you really tap into the agape, and I love what you said about returning to your spiritual selves, man, that was just powerful, because again, we get stuck in the soulic realm of love, where love is the thing that we give away, not the thing that we guard and keep for ourselves. And man, as I was reading, as you were talking about, y'all, there's a chapter, again, a line. This is a woman named Liz. He took Liz through the business, church.
Look, I called her out. I did. Look, she got healed though.
Listen, he took Liz through the business, and it was just, and I got to read this because I wrote this down, and I know you got other guests, but I've got to read this, y'all. You got to understand. It's a quote by G.K. Chesterton, and I love him as a theologian as well. Yes. And it says, every act of will is an act of self-limitation. To desire action is to desire limitation. In that sense, every act is an act of self-sacrifice. When you choose anything, you reject everything else. And so then that means when I read that, Byron, I stopped and considered all of my choices, all of the things that I had chosen, all of the things that I am choosing currently, and the things that I have postured myself to choose, and understanding that with every choice, I'm shutting down something. I am giving something a boundary with every choice, right? And so that's so very important, because my choice, I have to choose wisely so I can be, I can sacrifice wisely, because life is a life of sacrifice. Love is a portion of sacrifice, but sometimes that sacrifice needs to be coming to me. And the offering need to be coming to me. I need to stop for myself. You see, I need to seed into me. And when I read that quote, man, it just struck me, because I ain't gonna tell my business on your little show. I'm not gonna do that today, Byron. No, there are things that I have been contemplating, and in terms of choices, doors, and opportunities. And when I read that chapter, here's what I begin to think. Here's what I begin to say. If I choose that, what is it going to stop me from doing?
Come on.
Because not just what it's going to allow me to do.
Yes.
But what is it going to stop me from doing? Like, I was thinking about going back to school and getting my my law degree.
Come on.
I really want my law degree.
I love that.
I just want that. And then, so I'm looking up, various schools and how, the timing and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I asked myself, and I was doing that. And then I read this chapter, and I literally, y'all forgive me, but I had some choice words for you, because in the same instance, I'm also planning a book. I'm also planning a new record. I'm also planning these other things. And so if I choose school, what am I not going to be able to do? You see what I'm saying? What am I not going to be able to, perform? What do I most want to do? You
Yes.
see what I'm saying? And everybody else gonna have to fit in. And my wife knows I love her. My family knows I love them. My church knows I love them. My friends, they know I love them. But when it comes to making a choice for me, I figure if I'm always supporting you in whatever choice you make, and I love you through it, then you ought to reciprocate. Right?
Absolutely.
Because if I do something based upon simply how they're going to feel about me doing it, then I'm going to knock myself out of alignment. And just like a car, I'm going to have gas in it. I'm going to be inside, but the ride is going to be so rough. It's going to be so bumpy for me. Everybody else is going to be happy, but I'm going to be shaking because inside of me, I'm cursing the choice that I made because it wasn't in alignment to the best, for me being the best self that I can be. It wasn't alignment for my joy. Oh my God. Oh, that part. Aligning for my joy, because a lot of times we don't do that. We align to make other people happy. And what we find out, and we keep our misalignment inside of us because, of course, that's the Christ-like thing to do. Okay, whatever.
I'm telling you, brother, I have clients that literally don't start businesses or don't go do things because they're nervous that it won't be perfect. And they're not worried that it's not perfect for them. They're worried that the people that will see it will think it's not perfect. I have people that they're in relationships or they even have friendships, and they're more concerned about what they're giving to the other person than what the other person's actually giving back into them. And so they feel better about loving out and instead of being loved in, and not being aligned. When I think about alignment, like alignment isn't everything. This is why I relate it back to the creation story, because literally 4 seasons aligned. Each season has its purpose. A farmer knows that I may not be able to spend as much time with my family in the spring, but I'll get the time back in the winter. You understand? Like there's understanding of what is necessary in its time and its season. Like right now, you might need to focus on the book, but then it might be I need to focus on school, and book and school aren't going to be able to. I can tell you right now, is writing books, brother. Like a book and school at the same time is not wise. I'm not. That. So finding the alignment, finding the balance in it all is what creates the joy, is what creates the peace. Alignment, actually, you don't have to seek after the peace or the joy. When you're aligned, it comes. I use this analogy all the time about a person with a kite. You can see one person with a kite who there's no wind and they're running and the kite's going up, but they're using all of their strength and all of their energy, and they're tired and they're fatigued. But then you see somebody standing still and the wind is blowing and the kite is going higher and they're not exerting any energy. That's alignment. Alignment is being able to stand in one place and everything's working out because you are doing the thing at the time while the wind is blowing.
Exactly. And that's so great. Can I read just one more quote?
Yes, please.
From this one by Esther Hicks. Almost made me drop my phone. It says, with the right alignment, everything you want makes its way into your experience. You are the keeper of your own gate. And when I read that, when you make other people and other things and other obligations responsible for your happiness, you've abandoned your gate. You've actually given someone else the key to your gate to open up your happiness. But what you said right here, what an appropriate, so appropriate quote right here. With the right alignment, everything you want makes its way into your experience. And so sometimes waiting and stopping and resting is giving things to catch up to you, right? If you're always moving, you'll find yourself like that person with the kite. You're trying to create the wind. But if you wait and align it with the right time, the wind will come, you'll reserve your energy, and you're still flying your kite. And with alignment, we just got to know that we are the keepers. My God, we are the keepers of our own gate. And sometimes we got to lock the folks out and say, today is for me. Today is
Yeah.
for me. Well, why don't you run with me? So, and because my kite ain't flying. Well, wait on your wind. Because at this particular time, my wind has determined that I need to be still and just enjoy the wind working in my favor. I'm not going to be running away from my wind to make you happy in the fact that you don't have your wind yet, right? And so we have to make sure that when we are aligned, I love it, everything that you want will make its way into your experience. And because it has to know where to find you. It has to be where it's not just synchronization, but synchronicity. You got to be where you're supposed to be, not just when you're supposed to be, but you got to be where. Yeah, you got some place to be at 5 o'clock. But when 5 o'clock comes, you can't be riding in the car. Now you're going to the place of 5, but you're not where you're supposed to be. So I'm excited. I'm excited about what this book is going to teach people, Byron. And I think you've tapped into something that you're going to really deal with a mental stronghold, emotional stronghold, especially for those, again, in my world, the church world, who have absolutely no clue about loving ourselves because we have been so misdiagnosed and misdefined as selfish. When we love ourselves, when in fact, people are hating ministries. Pastors are hating ministries. Wives are hating husbands. Husbands are, hating wives and finding all of these other things that are going on. Children are hating parents simply because we've not taught the power of learning how to love yourself and staying in that alignment. And everybody has their role. And when everybody plays their role, then everybody can be happy. It's a win-win for everyone when we stay in alignment.
It really is, brother. You are so spot on with that. The church is in such desperate need of that. When I was heavy in church, I remember needing so much from people in order to stay afloat emotionally. I needed the validation. I needed the esteem. I needed the applause. And it felt like if I didn't get it in a moment, then I was less than. And I realized that these small doses of applause, they really are. They only give you so much. And this is why you have artists. As a person who's on stages with other people, you have artists that if they're not able to sing or they're not able to get on stage and do that thing that gives them the applause, they feel less than in their ordinary lives. Like it's the drug that helps them get through. But self-love is supposed to be the sustaining force, the underlying force, the foundational force, that everything else is supplemental. Everything else is just supplemental, not the main thing, but the supplemental thing. And so many people have that backwards, that's why they're out of alignment. That's why they're constantly needing the attention and the applause. And this is why a lot of people go after the wrong people. They go after people who just give them a little attention instead of going after where the alignment is. And I'm telling you, half of my clients, this is the first thing we deal with. I understand that what you're looking for is really the smallest piece that somebody can give you, which is attention. That smallest piece somebody can give you is attention.
Right. And it shouldn't be a hard thing. It should be when you're in alignment, it should be their pleasure. It should be the thing that makes them happy. It should be, your presence makes them happy because they're happy with themselves when they're with you. So it all works together. This alignment piece all works together. And I think that what we miss often is, you even talk about the alignment of being able to articulate what you want and what you desire. Again, in my world, the church world, we spin things so religiously that we try to sequester and push down humanity as if humanity is carnality, when in fact it is not. Humanity is equal to our future and to our purpose. And so when we teach our people how to really love their humanity, there are some things that we really wouldn't have to preach against because we've taught people how to love themselves. So much so that they won't do certain things that would endanger their alignment, their joy, and their peace. But when you teach them that being human is so substandard, is a substandard way of life, that then you make us walk around like we've got to be ghosts. When in fact, Jesus is like, yo, give me one of those bodies. Prepare me a body. Let
Yes.
me show them how to live as a son of God, divine in humanity, divine,
Mm,
right?
mm.
And so we act as if humanity is not divine, and it is.
It is.
It is. It is. Humanity is divine, and spirituality, divinity is divine, right?
Yes.
And when we don't teach that, we have people hating the fact that their humanity needs sleep. Their humanity needs love, joy,
Yes.
affirmation, a hug. Their humanity needs rest, right? We teach them that. And then, secretly, they are bitter with God. They are bitter with their walk of faith. They're bitter with the call of God on their lives, because you got all of this power locked up in this humanity, which you've taught me to hate, when in fact humanity is my partner with my divinity so that I can give God his glory. We don't do that a lot of times. And it's just like we got to, again, in my field, we got to do a better job at teaching. And like you said, artists are struggling right now because they don't have a stage.
Yes.
What the song and their instrument was their identity. And the unfortunate thing about that is that they're seeing right now that, hey, you're gonna have to find something else to do. You got to love yourself beyond your gift. Right? If you don't love yourself, if all the reason why you love yourself is when your gift is being applauded, then you're gonna hate yourself most of the time.
Most of the time.
What Corona and COVID and all these streets have taught us is that you better learn how to have an audience of one, or better yet, two, you and God. And y'all better sit down and write songs for yourself and sing to yourself and find that joy. And bring that into your experience. I love that. Attract that stuff that you really want into your experience without having to feel like you have to perform to be loved.
Come on.
When he says, "This is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased," that was such a high order of affirmation, because, as you said, it dealt with aligned identity. It had nothing to do with his ability, because before then, Christ had done nothing. It was just that he was in the right place at the right time doing the thing that his father told him to do, which was to be baptized by John in the Jordan. That was it. That was all. And his father affirmed his identity, and it made a difference. That in that 3.5 year ministry, it made a difference. And a lot of us don't know who we are because we're just going and doing stuff. Man, I thank God for this book, man. And that's not hyperbole. That's not blowing smoke at you. That's just the reality of what you have written and what you've taken the time to realign us and to align us to address it. I don't know who Liz is, but
Liz gonna want some publishing rights on this one.
Y'all, you got to get the book just to find out what he did to Liz, that good old Baptist member. She's a good faithful.
That's a Baptist. That's a good Baptist woman right there.
But I'm gonna mess up. But church is not enough, even if you're a Christian. I'm done. That's all I want to say. Church is not enough, Reverend Doctor.
Yes.
Mother Missionary. Church is not enough when there is a void in your soul that only self-love can fill.
I really wish some of our pastor brothers would preach more of self-love and preach more of finding confidence in self-confidence, things like that. I think there's this desperate need for the pastor to be at the height of everyone's adulation, that to make anyone feel better about themselves as a unique individual will then break that system of linear praise, up the line to the pulpit.
Right. That's how idols are erected. That's how dictators are made.
Yes.
When we don't empower others to find the strength to love themselves and to applaud themselves. One of the things that, even while you said that, one of the things that when you read Joshua, when whoever God was going to use significantly, he poured into them as a good father. When we look at the scripture from a paternalistic idea, and not just as him being Elohim, but him being Jehovah, him being Abba, him being our father, then when we start that discourse, then we will understand that his job as a father is to pour value into us and to affirm us. He will tell us, be courageous, be strong and courageous, because I'm with you. I ain't going nowhere. Even when I'm silent, I'm with you. Be strong. You're well able, right? He's always saying that to those that he uses and those that he calls, and he brings people from out of obscurity, and he brings them an affirmation. You are not a child. You are a prophet, and I've ordained you, right? Don't belittle what I'm trying to father out of you. And sometimes as church, we learn that God wants us so demurred, so retreated, so diminished, that then when we want people to do things, when we want them to actualize purpose, when we want them to move forward, they can't, because we have preached all of the God esteem out of them. We have preached all of the self-love out of them, such that it takes 15 prophets, 35 apostles, 26 evangelists to all come and preach them into some happiness and some joy. And that's simply because we do all of that in revival and our conferences, and then they come back to church and we tell them, you're too arrogant, you're stuck in pride, and for me to be confident and self-confident does not mean that I'm void of God or I'm disconnected from God. No, I am living out the actuality of who he created me to be. I am confident in who God has made me to be. Now, if your insecurity calls that arrogance, that ain't got nothing to do with me, right? Yeah. I don't have to be what you called me as long as I know who I am. And so my responsibility is not to live up to your definition, is to live up to what he said to me and to live out that confidently. And so when you read about alignment and you deal with all these aligned identities, and man, listen, I don't want to tell the whole book, but I highlighted it. And identity, stability, familiarity, right? The reasons why we stay misaligned, because we are trying to be somebody for somebody else. We've identified with something. So because people know me as pastor or bishop or artist L or whatever, I try to always be that character for them, but there is a lawyer in me that wants to come out, and I'm denying him because I need to be that character for you. And then, stability, even though it's painful, even though I'm tired, at least it's predictable pain. And so that's another thing, that a lot of us are stuck in predictable pain because that person doesn't really love us on the level that we need to be loved, but at least they're there. At least I have somebody. And the truth of the matter is that sometimes you need to be alone than to be abused, right? You got to pick it right. I would rather be alone than for my purpose to be abused. And then familiarity. We stay stuck because we know the devil we're dealing with. And so we never seek out the better angels of possibility, because I know, we have this axiom that I'm going to deal with the devil. At least I'm with the devil that I know. Well, no, divorce your devil. Right. Find you a new network. Do something. I like what you said, the unpleasantness of discovering something new. Right. Because whenever we do something new, it's first unpleasant, until it becomes exciting, until that thing becomes familiar. But when I got to let go of something that is familiar and then go after something that I've never known, it's an unpleasant, uneasy, unstabling feeling, even though it's going to usher me into a greater stability if I stick it out. Man, this book is so chocked with revelation. And again, brother, man, I am so incredibly proud of you. It's an audacious book. When you read it, it's gonna, if you can't get to him for therapy, he has placed himself in the pages of this book, and he is going to be your advisor, counselor, therapist in these pages, if you would but read it. And I'm telling you, I'm recommending it to my folk, especially my single people. Especially to my single folks, because before y'all looking for wedding dresses and wedding rings and all these things, you better learn how to love yourself. You better listen, because you will be a basket case in a wedding dress and a tuxedo, hoping that somebody can love you through foolishness that you should have been healed from before you even got married. And that's simply because you were not aligned with yourself. Yeah.
Oh man, thank you so much. Thank you for being on. I would love for you to tell the people what you do and where to find you so that they can make sure to follow you as well.
Yo, listen, I am L. Spencer Smith. My social media, I am L. Spencer Smith. That's Spencer with an S, S-P-N-S-E-R, S-M-I-T-H, L. Spencer Smith. I am a pastor. I'm a husband, a father. I'm an artist. I'm a musician. I'm a producer. I do a little bit of everything. Y'all pray for me. Maybe one day I'll be a future lawyer.
Really? Yes.
I'm a teacher, educator by degree. And please, follow me on social media. Every now and then I get a revelation and say something profound and then shock myself. But but definitely I would love to engage. Especially in times like this, we need to be aligned with the right voices and who have the right opinings of God, who have the right opinions of God concerning us, leading us through moments of unfamiliarity and distress. You got to be hearing the right voice. And I thank God for Byron, because he is one of those voices that have been divinely positioned in the earth for such a time as this. Can you imagine if he was still stuck in church behind a pulpit, how limited he would be? But we thank God for his audacious walk to step out of the comfort zone and the expectation of other people to provide this resource. So yes, I'm applauding him. I'm talking about me, but I know I love me enough to know that God has assigned him for this season, for such a time as this. And I am grateful to be on, and I pray that you all follow me and stay in touch. I got a new record out too called Hooked, talking about the love of God and how we respond to it. It's on Apple Music, iTunes, all that kind of stuff. Get it. It'll bless your life.
Awesome. Thank you, brother, so much. I appreciate you. And I look forward to it. We'll talk a little later, all right?
Absolutely, man. Take care.
All right. Be blessed.
All right, you too.
All right. That was L. Spencer Smith, the amazing pastor, bishop, everything, right? Like he's pretty amazing. Profound brother, extremely deep. And I just appreciate who he is. I've known him for years. He's seen me grow up. And to see where he is now is profound. I thank him for even taking time for this. Next up, I got the amazing Reese Odum. She's a dynamic actress. I had an opportunity to interview her back on The Heart earlier part of this year. I believe it was pre-COVID too. That was like we were all right then. But I'm glad to have her on. Reese, welcome on. How you doing, dear? So glad to have you. Let me. I think I had you mute. All right, there you go. How you feeling? Good. I think I can't hear you. Can't hear you. It's all right. You look good though. That's good. You don't know what it is. It's all right. Let's see. Let me try that and that. One more time. No, not coming through. Let's see. Give you a second to check that. You want to work it out? And there you go. All right. So I'll do this since we're getting her together. I'll bring on Rosalind and we'll go backwards. Rosalind, if you're ready, let's go. Hey. How you doing today? We got backup. Yes.
Okay. Right. Look at God.
I'm sure she's gonna get that right. I know how this tech stuff works.
Yeah.
It's very difficult. Hold on, let me see. Let me be right. Because I want to respect the time. Let me just see.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. See, I'm ready though. But yeah, I got you. I want to respect the time. How you doing, dear?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. Congratulations on your new book.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It was really a labor of love, a long time coming, a long time to really get this out and get these stories out. And I mean, it was some effort, but I'm glad that you got a chance, or you took it upon yourself to say yes to the opportunity to read this. I'm very curious because I love how you think and I love your perspective on things. I would love to hear what you thought initially, your first impression of the book.
I mean, Byron, that I think you're amazing. And I was nothing short of amazed by your pages and how well written they were, and how, even though you are not and no longer in the pulpit, like you speak of, you are very much utilizing your ministry through your writing and your coaching. And, you know, your God-given gift to help people is something I think is beautiful, and that you use that gift in a very positive and intentional way. And you help people to find themselves and love each other. And as you state in the book, God is love. And so, you know, the fact that you are using your gift to bring, you know, people closer to God is a beautiful thing. So, I mean, I know it's not like this preachy book. I don't want people to think that, but it is a very soul settling, bringing of awareness type of write and read that I think people will enjoy and benefit from.
Thank you for that. Was there something that stood out to you specifically in the book that you have to just mention?
There was so much. Let me start there. My specific chapter that stood out to me, of course, was appreciation.
Yes.
Appreciate, key number 6.
Gotta love 6.
Yeah, and it's so crazy because of the fact that the story that you incorporated in it was about an entertainer. And I am not a diva. I can attest to that. And I think that, you know, a lot of people that know me will agree.
You're not a diva.
I'm not a diva.
You got diva tendencies. You got diva tendencies.
You know, I might have the air of one at times. You know, maybe in a past life, you know, some people say I kind of remind them of Mariah at times. Not her person, but her look. So
yeah, you give me Diane Carroll. If I were to think of a Diane Carroll,
no, I'll take that better.
Yeah.
Yes, darling. Yes. So, but all that to say, that chapter is one that stood out to me, and I think that a lot of people talk about gratitude and appreciation in life. And I don't think that a lot of people truly understand how it really does bring so much to your life that you don't realize when you lack it. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
When you bring it back, like you have I think a natural sense of gratitude as a child, because, you know, you're like, thank you, Mom. Thank you, Dad. You know, I appreciate, oh my God, this is so great. And once you get older and you live life and you get busy, much like you speak of in the book, you really just don't pay attention to the things that you should.
Yes.
That really bring the beauty to life in a way that, you know, when you don't have it, you miss life. If you will. And that's something that I think you really hit the nail on in this chapter. And I'm just so grateful to have read.
Thank you for that. For you, how did it feel with the actual establishment or the structure of the book? Because I know for a lot of people, like for me, when books are structured a certain way, I can get lost or distracted. For you, was it an easy read? Did you feel like you could read it and not feel like, okay, I can put this down, even if the material was good? Because I've read some books that the stuff was good. I was like, okay, this is a little heavy. So what did it feel like to you while reading it?
For me, as a creative, as an actor, I read a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of scripts, and just reading in general is half of my job. And so the way that you structured this book was very structured, if you will, you know, for lack of better terms. It gives, I think that people appreciate that because you keep them on task as opposed to them losing focus. The way that you intentionally broke it down and made people somewhat of a fly on the wall in the lives of these other people to make it more relatable. Because I think that people are more alike than they realize. and that, you know, the things that we go through may be slightly different or, you know, totally different, but it's the same message. It's the same
Yeah.
lesson.
Yes.
And it's really important, I think, an important piece of your book that you also, you know, in your foreword told your story and made people feel the realness of you, and that you're not just speaking at them, you're sharing with them your own life experiences and others. And so that it doesn't feel, like I said, oh, this is just you going through this. It makes it so welcoming in the sense that, wow, you know, I'm not the only one. And I think that that's super important with anything that, you know, is intended to help people, because you never want to alienate someone to feel like, oh, this is just me going through this. No,
Yes.
it's not. And that's, I think that's what makes people want more of it. It's like, oh, just help me, you know. I want you to help me, right? So, but no,
Yes.
you did an amazing job. So
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. With that, with the structure and with the ability to actually share stories, I talked about the person in your particular chapter, that diva. That's one of my probably favorite clients that I've had, as far as the amount of work that I had to do to actually get them to that place.
yeah.
But you know, the level of appreciation and that person ended up having at the end of it was bigger because of the fact that they were able to walk through it, and really see how much they had already.
Yeah.
Have you ever had those moments where you felt like, let me just look around for a second and thank God, because I haven't done this in a while? Have you ever had that moment happen to you?
More often recently than I like to admit, you know, because much like his life, my life was very just go, 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 go. Which is why I told you I totally related with this chapter the most, or the story of it, and wanting to, you know, just really take it in, because it was something that was very real to me, like I said, this year. And we did talk early COVID.
Yeah.
So, you know, you literally get to witness me after, you know, a lot of self-reflection and self-love that I didn't give myself during the time of, you know, being on the go.
Yes.
And that brought, you know, the time to truly meditate. And in those meditations, I was very much aware and brought to the awareness of being more grateful for my journey and the things that I have been blessed with, from my career to my family to just life in and of itself. And like you mentioned, like just who I am, like my body, my person, and to take better care of me. And again, like I used to. So that's why you see this whole transformation of who I was at the beginning of COVID to who I am again now, because this is me, you know. The on the go me was just very neglectful and overlooked so much that mattered.
Yes.
I mean, I've always been very aware and grateful for my family. I'm very much, you know, I talk about that all the time, but that's not all, you know, that there is. You know, God, like you talk about waking up in the morning and being intentional with those things. I literally remind myself of my grandmother who passed away a few years ago. She used to always be like, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus, thank you. You know, like she'd walk around the house that way, you know,
Yes.
and I'm like, why is she doing that? You know, I do it now, you know, and it's very specific to just thank you for today. Thank you for my life. Thank you for my family. Thank you, you know, and thank you for my, you know, who I am, you know, the fact that I can live my dream and that I am able to, you know, whether I've hit what I feel is the big job yet, I've done a lot and I've been blessed to do so. So get the book, people, because he quotes so many things. And, I'm trying to be quick because I know that, we are on a time limit. But, okay, so can I do that? Can I quote some stuff? Okay. So in one part of my chapter, appreciation, you speak on, you talk about a whole bunch of stuff, but it's like, it's not that you're an awful person. You've just simply been moving so fast that you didn't slow down to appreciate all the things that allow you to go so fast, which, is what I was speaking of. Like, I neglected myself for so long that I was like, gosh, now I can appreciate the fact that when I do get back in the hustle and bustle of it, I am back in shape. I am, very much in a very happy space. I've worked through all of those things that, really kind of bring you down when you're rushing and worrying about stuff that doesn't matter.
Yes.
And so that was one piece that spoke to me.
That's a good one.
Aside from everything else, because you're amazing. And don't let anybody ever tell you anything else. Okay. And then it's, what else? You, in essence, are a gift to the world. That I loved, because it's about appreciating the fact that God gave you life and he gave you all these gifts, but you have to appreciate yourself as a gift in and of itself so that you can treat it as such. Right? And then you say you possess the power to design and build, to heal and enhance. Like, it's in you.
It's in you.
That's what I'm telling you. Like, you don't have to be in a pulpit. Like, you literally, on these pages, I printed it out.
You printed it out. Come on.
Yes, I am old school with it, even though I'm super young,
I feel like you printed out some scripts like that too, though. I feel like that.
Yeah. I do. I have to see it. I love it. It feels good. I love the smell of paper, Let's see. And a grateful mind is a great mind, which eventually attracts to itself great things. You guys, you don't understand. Like, this is what I mean. And then you detail and he walks you through the correct way to achieve the true meaning of appreciation and gratitude, and how you can, with that, attract what it is that you want in life, in love, and everything, success, because you might feel like you don't have enough and that, you're not appreciating what you have, but the more you appreciate what you have, the more you're given.
Yes.
So think about it. Look, that means that my husband is on his way, y'all.
Come on, look at you.
What?
You stepped up your appreciation levels. So now you're attracting some more, right?
And self-love, all of it, like taking care of me, loving me again, back to me. Because my mother always told me, Reese, you're very nurturing, you're very giving, you do a lot for other people. But when you neglect yourself and you don't give that to yourself, then you're doing yourself a disservice.
Yes.
And she's just like, I love who you are, but you have to do for you too.
Come on.
So
you own it.
Mommy knows best. And then daddy's always just like, you're awesome, you're beautiful, you can do anything. So I got it everywhere.
You better appreciate that too.
Yes, I'm so grateful.
Man,
but I'm grateful for you.
Thank you.
I'm just grateful for you writing this book, and I want people to understand that, I haven't known Byron very long. So I'm really not just, oh, this is my friend I grew up with and he's awesome. And I'm just saying that. No, the minute I met him, I knew that he was special and that he cares about people in general, that he's not just writing this book for you to buy it so that you can have a bestseller. He's writing this book because he truly cares and knows that there's a need. And when you have those people who are truly following their purpose, that God has given them in a way that is going to feed God's people, you really can't dispute the fact that there is something of benefit to you in every way on every page. So thank you, Byron.
Well, thank you. I want to call you missionary Odom over here.
Okay. I'm elder Reese. But
Yeah, I like it.
look,
that means a
I've
lot.
even become super active within my church here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
You know, the Dream Center Church of Atlanta under William Murphy.
Yeah.
Yes. But it's you gotta feed into yourself, whatever moves you.
Yes.
And be grateful for all of that. And then, like I said, I know you're on a time limit. So thank you for my book.
Thank you. Absolutely. And don't worry, I'm gonna get you a full copy in the mail. But thank you so much for being on and sharing like your perspective. I told you your perspective, amazing. I love it. But tell everybody what you're working on right now.
Saints and Sinners. Anita Robinson is back in full effect, season 5, and Saints and Sinners, the movie that you can see on Bounce TV at the first of the year. So 2020 will be back because, you know, we were off this year, but that's why they brought it back with the movie. Then season 5, and I've been blessed to be on both. Look at God.
God is good. Appreciate it.
Yes. Praise all to him. And look, you can watch all the rest of the seasons on Hulu and catch up so that you'll be all caught up for season 5. But that's what I've been working on. I also had a film that I did that's going to air on Aspire TV. It's a group of really talented writers. So you'll see that on Aspire TV. I think it's going to be on Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
And then I have so much going on, but I'm not going to bore you guys with that, but you can find me everywhere on social media. That's Reese Odum, ReeceODU. I'm sorry, ODUM, no relation to Lamar. I have to always say that. So spell it right. ODUM. And it's Reece. So it's Reese with the C, Odom with the U, no relation to Lamar. And Byron, you are awesome.
Thank you, love. I appreciate you. You have a beautiful day. I thank you so much for the time again, and I look forward to us talking very soon. All right, send me that link when the movie comes out on Aspire.
Well, you know, the Aspire movie, but like Bounce TV is where Saints and Sinners is going to be. So you always just I'll let you know when everything's going to come out.
Let me know. I'll put it out.
Thank you. Okay, bye everybody. Get the book.
All right. Again, another amazing person, Reese Odum, not related to Lamar. And I am so glad to have her on. Always amazing. Such a breath of fresh air. And again, we just met, but you know what? Good people attract good people. That's what we talked about just a moment ago. The amazing Rosalind's coming up now. I'm going to bring her right on in. She can tell who she is. What's going on, Rosalind? Everybody got a sneak peek of who we were a minute ago.
Yeah.
So tell everybody what you do and tell them how I know you.
Okay, cool. So hello, everybody. I'm Rosalind Hedgepeth. Everybody calls me Roz. I'm from Augusta. I am a finance manager for Microsoft, and I am the founder and CEO of which one? Both of them?
Finance manager what?
Microsoft.
Come on now.
Microsoft.
Microsoft.
Okay, that's what she said.
Elevation. She got an elevation.
Okay, what we do? He'll do it if you let him. But so founder and CEO of Pretty Boss LLC. And, you know, if you don't mind, I got to say how we met. So we met on your series, Love Talk. And when I tell you listen, you've seen what has happened since that conversation. So, you know, God is good.
God is good. She booed up for those of you who are wondering. And that is awesome since then. I drop a little nugget here and there to help out. So with the book, you got a chance. You had chapter 5, I believe, right?
Yes, allocation. Yes.
Oh, yes. So what did you think of that chapter? What was your first impression?
So I felt seen throughout the chapter. I was like, you know, when you're at church and they preaching the sermon, it's like, does he know my life? Like, have you been peeking through my blinds? Like, what's going on? Because I feel like every millennial woman needs to read. If you get the book and you don't read no other chapter, read this chapter, ladies, because something happens. We pray and we ask God to give us a man, to give us this job, to give us this side hustle. And what happens when those things happen? Like, you get all of these things, and what do you do? So it was great to just go through what self-love was versus conceit, and then actually how to allocate time for yourself. So I think it's something that we all need, really.
Ooh, that's good. So tell me, what stuck out the most to you about a specific part of the chapter?
So the first thing that stuck out to me was when you broke down what love is not. And this is when I first started like wondering, like, am I a conceited person, or do I just love myself? And I felt at peace when I read the part where he said, being comfortable in your own skin without having to degrade someone. Because we all have been around someone where, just because they're having a bad day, everybody else got to have a bad day. And so that gave me a little affirmation to myself, like, okay, I'm not a horrible person. But there were other things where I had to check myself. So it was good to have that, like, refusing to admit fault. There are times where I'm stubborn and I'm like, I'm wrong, but I'm going to just sit here quiet. And
I'll be the first one. Look, partner say something, and I'll be like, it was just a moment ago. I was watching something in the room, and I thought it was the girl from Clarissa Explains It All. You remember that back on Nickelodeon?
Yes.
It was actually the girl from Blossom. But they look to me similar, I guess, now that they open. And so I was like, it's Clarissa. It's Clarissa. He was like, no. Then he was like, you gonna bet me? I was like, no. They're Blossom. I said, that's what I said.
That's exactly what I said. Why you bringing up old stuff?
But it's what I said, right?
That's my favorite line when I'm wrong. I'm like, why are you bringing up old stuff? Like,
and it'd be like an hour ago, but exactly. It's old, right?
Exactly. Let's focus on the future. Like, what?
Focus on the future. So true.
Yes.
I get it. And when you're trying to find balance and really allocate where things are supposed to go in your life and where they're supposed to fit, it can be so difficult because everything seems important. Everything seems vital. Everything seems necessary. But to everything, there is a time and a season.
Exactly. And I think that's why I really feel like a target market for your group is going to be millennial women, because we don't have examples of what this looks like. Like, yes, our mothers just started working, but it's just different now. Like, it's a kind of expected now for us to add value to the household. So what does gender roles look like in that? Am I still cleaning the house? Am I still cooking dinner, but I'm still making as much as you? Like, so it's different now, and you still have to have children, all those different things. But something that I've learned is, even with talking with some of the senior leaders at Microsoft, is each day has its own priority. And you have to be comfortable with giving each day its own priority. Some days it will be your family. Some days it'll be your job. Some days it'll be you. And that goes into that allocation.
That's awesome. That was well said right there. I have to agree. I mean, most successful people figure out their one thing that they're going to focus on that's going to be most important for that day, and they try to get it done early, so that if anything happens, they can still get back to it by the end of the day. That is how people get things done who are highly successful. And I've learned that, and I'm glad that you caught that. Was there something else that caught your eye in the actual book?
Yes, love drama less. The next time I felt seen. Because that's another reason I loved what I read, because you use very practical examples. Like, we have been watching Real Housewives of Potomac. We've been watching the fight with Monique. You know what I'm saying? We know what's been going on, but those things get into your spirit, gets into your psyche. And like, next thing you know, you're starting to fight with your partner, like over something small, so it is important to be aware of what you're allocating into your energy, into your space, your thought patterns, letting positive energy, positive thoughts come in more than negative thoughts. And you have to check yourself to make sure that you aren't falling in love with drama, because it is a high. It is.
It is. It is. I mean, I can literally get on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube and go through video after video after video, because once you watch one, they got a related one that's right after it, and then you just stuck hour and a half.
Just watch.
You were supposed to be doing something else. And an hour and a half will pass and you have watched 10 to 15 videos.
I had a phase where I was watching like Popeye's fights. It was very similar. Like I admit it, but like that's an example of, you know, that time could have been spent doing something else that would have been a little bit, you know, more productive, more peaceful. You know, just a little bit, you know, hey. Again, I felt seen. Thank you. Thank you.
It's what we do. It's what we do.
Yes.
With this, there's a part in here that I really wanted to talk about specifically because you're the only person that got this particular chapter. The objections. So it was, one of them was, I don't have time for balance. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people say in their mind, I don't really have enough time in the day. I don't have enough time to balance all of this. I don't have enough time to figure this out. All these things that I have on my plate, I'm just going to have to do them as they come up. And what do you, as somebody who is busy and does many things, how do you manage that? Have you said that to yourself before?
Yes. And now I'm finding that I have to reallocate my time. So I'm learning that I see why people wake up early. Because like you said, you can get those things done that you need. That time where you can reflect, meditate, pray, like turn on anything, right? Like just to clear your mind, listen to music. Like that is so important before you just turn on your laptop and start working. Finding alone time is so important. I used to really, really enjoy the sauna, like after the gym. Now I'm like, might have to get an at-home sauna situation going. But those things are so, so, so important. And you have to make time. A lot of times we find ourselves, let's keep it real, binge watching something. Like I just finished binge watching a show. And that time that I spent, it probably could have been spent somewhere else. But like we just all have to think about the time that we spend on things. What can be cut? What can be condensed? Like while I was watching the show, sometimes I was working, doing things that didn't require as much brain activity. Also, I've learned to be very efficient. Listen, I become the queen of a 10, 15-minute meeting. We don't have to, be on the call all day.
It doesn't have to be an hour. Who said an hour? Who said an hour? It could be 45.
I don't have time for that. I don't. Because my trick to that is pre-work. So if there's a meeting where we're going to talk about a presentation deck, I'm going to go ahead and create the deck, make as much updates to it as I can, so they know when they get on the call with Rhys, it's going to be more so a review. We can change a few things here and there, but we're not building it from scratch. Anybody got time for that? Has everybody got an opinion? No. Then that takes 10-minute tasks to an hour, and then that's less time you could spend eating something healthy, taking time to walk away, walk to the mailbox, get some fresh air. So I just try to be as efficient as possible.
That is awesome. No, that is actually the right way to think. I think we end up reacting to life more than being proactive with life. We really do. And so when we're able to say, even when it comes to negative energy, like 9 times out of 10, something in a day negative is going to come, a negative comment, a negative post, but preparing yourself early in the day for what could potentially come is better than waiting. Oh, it comes now. Let me react to it. That it's so backwards, but that's how we do. But allocating that time to be able to get ahead of things allows you that opportunity. And
like when we talk about self-love, something that came to me today is the same grace that we give to other people, we have to start giving it to ourselves. Like I will let somebody mess up 50,000 times on me, lie on me 50,000 times, be mean to me 50,000 times. But if I make one mistake, I am so hard on myself. And that's the blessing and the curse, right? Because that has helped me be successful. But at the same time, I challenge myself today, like, okay, girl, give yourself a break sometimes. It's okay to mess up every now and then.
Yes, it's okay to want to sit and do nothing for a little while. It's okay to stay at home when you're supposed to be out at an event. You know what? I I'm not going today. I'm just not. I feel like staying home. You know, I've had those same moments where I felt like I had to be at everything. I had to go to everything. I had to show up and support everybody. I had to be, you know, it'd be like, okay, 5 events today that everybody's doing, and I'm gonna try to hit this one and this one and this day of town, but I'm gonna try my best.
Have your different outfits in the car for it?
No, not in this next season. After Corona, it's gonna be. You know what? This is the one I'm most aligned with. I'm allocating time for this, and if I could fit in one more that's not going to create too much tension or drama in my life, then I will add that one. But other than that, not doing it.
That's
not
true.
doing it. Lesson learned. Lesson learned. Was there anything else that you caught from the book or that you wanted to share?
Let me look at my little notes. I think I covered the biggest things. Yeah, but honestly, it was really good. I have a lot of notes. Here's my receipt. I have all the notes for the people. So that lets you know, like, honestly, that's why I kept harping on. It's great for millennial women because we're trying to figure this thing out. Like, and you don't have to do it alone, ladies. That's why we even created the Pretty Boss community. So like, look on this book and leverage it. At minimum, go straight to step 5. You need step 1 through 4, I'm sure, but at minimum, go to step 5 and you can really learn how to allocate so you can be balanced. Because it's so easy if you get a good man, a good partner, to want to invest in them. But it's like you can't forget about yourself. So this is everything.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you for being on. It's good to see you again. I'm so proud of all the things you're doing. Congratulations on Microsoft Finance Manager. Yes. And for growing Pretty Boss. I look forward to actually seeing you one day in person when all this goes. God bless, Lord Jesus. All right. Until then, though, enjoy your night and be blessed.
You too. Thank you.
Absolutely. Everybody, thank you for staying with us tonight. I had to give everybody time because everybody on this show tonight was amazing. To Rosalind, to Reese, and to L. Spencer Smith, I want to thank them all for being on tonight. And thank you for tuning in and watching. I just want to encourage you, if you haven't gotten it yet, if it hasn't crossed your mind yet, this book will change your life. I promise you, it's been years in the making. It's come straight from my heart. And I know that self-love is something that we often don't talk about, but it's the most important topic of your life. Your greatest love story is the one you have with yourself. So I encourage you to get this book, get it now, get it ready so that when it hits, you're able to have your copy. I'll sign it. But know you're loved. Remember what we always say. You deserve amazing love, and you are worth the love you seek. So seek higher love. Be blessed. Go to byronjamal.com. Get your copy today, and I'll see y'all real good and soon. Be blessed.